Uh,
We're here. Hi, and welcome back to the Healthy Metal Hippie. Today, we are here with Tory from the band Enough's Enough. Welcome, Tory. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hello, thanks for having me.
I am absolutely delighted that you're here. Have, you are just truly an incredible person. You're very interesting.
Oh,
And,
oh,
you
thank
know, we met fairly recently. I'm sorry, I keep shaking my camera, so I'm probably like, whoa, right now. But we met fairly recently, actually, thanks to this lovely man that I love, David.
Yeah.
And I, and you know what? And it was so great that we could finally connect in person at a show over here in London. And now here we
Yeah.
are again in podcast form.
Yeah. 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 Good to see you again. Great to meet you at that show. What a cool show that was. You guys coming up on the bus and hanging out. That was great.
Yeah, it was super fun. So you've been with Enough's Enough kind of off and on since 2008, am I right? Or is that wrong?
Yep. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
that's a long time. And you
Oh my
have
God.
like I mean, yeah, I'm like the math here. It's like 16 years, isn't it?
Yeah. There
It's a
was
long
there was
time.
a little period in there where I left. God, I don't even remember what year, like 2013 to like 2015 or 16. I took a little time off from that to do my country band, the New Black Seven,
Oh,
and then got
cool.
sucked back in.
You just couldn't get enough.
Couldn't get enough of Zina, of Chip
Ex-
Zina.
Exactly, which is fair enough. And
Yeah.
so it's good that you're back though. But it's exciting overall that you've been able to make a career as a full-time musician, which is so difficult now. I mean, it's always been difficult in a sense, but especially now it's a very difficult thing to do, and you're doing it.
Yeah. We got a couple surprise years off there that nobody wanted.
A
I
couple
felt
surprise.
bad.
Oh,
The little COVID snafu there, the before
yes.
times. But
Hmm.
we were in Australia when that happened, and I was like, I need some time off. I have some songs that I want to record. And then, like 6 months later, I was like, I didn't need this much time off.
Oh, yep. That's the thing.
That, that might have been my fault. I don't know.
Well, you can't go back and blame yourself now. It's
Yeah.
but it is a feat in itself, and you're out here still to this day touring the world right now, of course, with Enough's Enough. And that's, just before we got started, I was saying that to you. It's like one of the things I find just very amazing about you is that you live your life just full on. Um, it's something special, and a lot of people just take advantage of the fact that they are, you know, or sorry, don't take advantage of the fact that they are well and alive, and they don't get themselves out there. But then there you are, off you go, and you do it.
Well, I think what we were talking about a little bit before, when you have a surprise health issue where you see kind of the end of the tunnel there, it kind of makes you realize that how short life can be. And I got a second chance at that. And I think, as much as I can, I try to make the most of it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. So if we go back, like, do you want to tell us what happened? Do you want to give the whole story? What led you to that big health incident?
uh, um, taking terrible care of myself, eating like I was never going to die, and just being very unhealthy. And as a musician in the US, the healthcare is a joke here. And if you don't have a full time job or enough money, you're not going to have health insurance. So I just I didn't see a doctor for a good probably 15 years there, and was just eating like there was no tomorrow. Eating, and my diet was terrible. I was just all fast food, from being on the road.
Yeah.
And it came to a point where I kind of knew something was wrong, and I had no idea it was my heart that was 90% blocked, and came to a point where my heart just said, "We're not going to do this anymore," And I don't know how in depth you want to go there
Yeah.
with
However deep
that.
you want to go, because I mean,
Um,
that's big.
yeah, I like to tell the story. When it happened, I had a heart attack in 2014, and when that happened, and I went to the hospital, I didn't know if I was going to say anything about it to anybody. I was just going to keep it kind of quiet. But then I realized that like telling the story and making awareness is the key there to your health, like being aware of your body. And I wasn't aware at all there um, about that because I didn't have health insurance.
Mhm.
And so the emergency part of it, when, it was 2 in the morning and you start coughing up blood and drive yourself to the hospital, and
Yeah.
they tell you you're having a heart attack. So they
Does that
call a
happen?
doctor and he rushed. Yeah,
Like,
that's how it happened.
like,
I,
is that normal? The blood coughing with a heart attack? Like,
Well, apparently, when you lay down, your lungs start to fill up. So I was I was upstairs at a studio where I worked, and I walked down. It was like a Friday night, and I walked down the stairs to drive home, and I couldn't catch my breath. And I drove home, and I was having a hard time like taking a deep breath. I couldn't take a full deep breath, and I was just like my heart was pounding like a rabbit. And I got home, and I was like, oh man, I can't take a breath. I'm just going to go to sleep. So I went
right.
to bed. I laid down and I started coughing. And I felt, sorry to be gross, but like I felt something go in my hand. So I grabbed my phone and I looked, and it was just blood in my hand. So I was like,
God.
well, I can't ignore that. So I got up and drove myself to the hospital. And I was like, I know it's 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I swear my heart isn't beating like this because I don't do drugs. I,
Right.
and I was like, I know what you're going to think right now. This guy's heart is pounding. And I was like, I don't, never done cocaine. I don't know why my heart's pounding like it is. And they were like, oh my God, your blood pressure's off the chart. Your heart, oh, we have to get this down or you're going to have a stroke. And then at some point they were like, this isn't the heart hospital. You need to go to the real hospital, and they put me in it. I was like, oh, okay, I'll go out and get in my car and drive to the other hospital. They're like, no, you're going in right now. So I got to the other hospital, and they were like, oh, you'll be fine. You just have high blood pressure and high cholesterol and all that. You're just going to have to take some pills. And then all of a sudden, like 5 nurses came rushing in with these machines and were like, you're going to have surgery right now for your um, to put in stents. And I was like, oh no. uh, yeah, it was like a 5 hour surgery of they put 2 stents in one side, and then they went out and told my parents that I probably wasn't going to make it because they couldn't get the stents in the other side. Benny, they're like, oh, daddy.
Oh,
Yeah, they went out and told my parents that I probably wasn't going to make it. They were going to have to fly me to Rochester to the Mayo Clinic. He said he was going to go back in and take one more stab at the stab, uh, getting a stent in one of the other arteries, and he did that. So I woke up in the hospital, and the doctor was in there, and he said, "Don't waste this." He's like, You got a second chance here. Don't waste it." I was like, I owe that guy to not waste it.
yeah, absolutely. How old were you at the time? If I'm allowed to ask that, I don't know.
Yes, 10 years. So I was 45,
So young. Like,
way too young. So that to go even more in depth, like I was adopted when I was born, and so I had no family history. And the thing that he said was, he's like, I don't. He said, "How's your family history of this?" And I said, "I have no idea because I'm adopted. Didn't know my birth parents at the time." And he said, "Well, I can guarantee you this: they're not alive." And since my parents passed away last year, I did find my birth mother, and he was correct. She wasn't alive. So some
oh,
family history of art stuff there.
it's, it's tough. Like, I was not adopted, okay, but I don't know my birth father, okay? And but even when I have to fill out things like that, I'm like, maybe, I don't know, because I just don't. I know them, but I don't. But I don't know them, and I don't have any
Yeah,
access to any of that history. So I mean, obviously
yeah,
not to the same extent, but I get it, right? And and I think it's been nice for me doing some like genetic testing and things like that just to see kind of what's going on, right? But yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah. I was going to do that, the DNA stuff, and I had a physical a couple of weeks ago, and the doctor was. I told him that, and he said, as long as you're not doing it for the health aspects of, he goes, and
oh,
if you do it for the health aspects, he said, maybe you should bring the results in, and we'll go over it together. Because he said a lot of times people see it without the analysis and just
right.
see, oh, I'm prone to this or that. And
Yeah,
then they
but
freak out about it. Like sometimes it just stresses you out. But
no, I know. It's interesting because some stuff that I thought I would have markers for, it said I don't have markers for. So,
oh,
I mean,
wow. Yeah.
that's a good thing at least, but
Yeah.
holy, but that's, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess you you learned a lot from that hospital stay and surgery and everything, and like, I mean, you're right. Most people don't get a second chance, and especially when it's like, cool, we're gonna try one more time to get this in, like that. That just doesn't happen. You're meant to be
Yeah.
here, you know.
Yep. Trying my hardest to make it count.
And you, I mean, you are 100% from what everything that I know of you. You are. It's like, I don't know. So okay, then if I go back before a little bit too, were you, I mean, because obviously we didn't know each other at that time either. 10 years ago we didn't know each other, but it's like, I don't know, I'm thinking about it. Did you have a big change in mindset and everything after this happened? You know, I mean, clearly you made lifestyle choices that are different now, and we can talk about that. But it's like, but just mindset in general. I mean, you go full out just to live life. Do you, I don't know, find yourself more positive? Were you anything like that?
I think about 100%. Yeah. Um, Different than I was before. Um, you know, I try as hard as I can to just be optimistic every day. Obviously, that old stuff creeps in and you try as hard as you can. I always think on the road, like I'm going on tour tomorrow for 3 weeks. I'm like, I feel like going on tour is like this test
Hmm.
of your gratitude and positivity in the kind of touring that we do, where it's like every day it's the same test over and over. I'm like, when I get this right and there's nothing that annoys me, I'll be like, okay, time to go. I got it right finally. You know, no matter how positive and grateful you are, something's going to go wrong every day.
Yeah.
So it's like you can sit here and go, hey, it's all good. It just everything happens, but it's like in the moment, you've been riding in a van for 10 hours, something, the littlest thing after you've been away from home, you don't get your doggy, at the end of the day, and your wife, and it's like something's going to trigger you, but you just try. And
Yeah.
recently, I can think of a time we were on tour just last month in Europe. I think we were flying from the UK to Italy,
Okay.
and we missed our connecting flight. We couldn't get another one. We missed our show. We missed our first show in Italy, and I couldn't get it right, and it ruined my day. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, it happens, it's fine, but there was nothing I could do, and I was just miserable the rest of it. And I'm like looking back on it, like, where's the lesson? What did I learn from that? And how can I not be like that again? But it's just,
Yeah.
you get in those situations, but you know, you get another day, you wake up the next day and say, wow, sorry about that. I acted very badly, very poorly in the moment. But it's like, I'll try harder next time. So hopefully I learned a little something from that. And I'm going on tour tomorrow, and I'll learn those lessons again and hopefully get it right.
Well, that's right. You have a new chance every day. Did you ever see that movie Sliding Doors? Like,
No.
don't ask me to name an actor, but basically it's about uh this woman who's like got this boyfriend and he's a writer, and it's set in London, I'm pretty sure. Well, it's set in the UK. But she's going down to get the tube, and in one situation she gets it and in one she misses it. And then it shows how like her two lives play out, whether or
Ah,
and it is like I always think about that because I mean I even have times where I miss the train like by literal seconds, you know, or a traffic or something held me up leaving the house, but I'm always like, yeah, but maybe I was supposed to be behind, or maybe this was supposed to happen because maybe there was something not great for me on that train, or maybe that
yeah,
accident could have been me if I left 10 minutes earlier or whatever, like. And so I
yeah.
always think about that and I'm like, but oh yeah, I get pissed off in the moment though. I'm like, God, like. And so it's, I mean, it's understandable, right? When you have a set plan and then things just don't line up, you're of course you're going to be pissed, even if it's just in the moment. And
Yeah,
but it's right, it's like it's everything though. How do you handle it? How do you manage it? And exactly, how do you learn from it going forward?
yeah, yep.
It's not always easy.
No, no. But
But
here
you
we are. Got
exactly. We just, and I think having the faith that we all just do the best that we can, and you know then I think it makes things a lot easier too. But
yeah,
so
yeah.
how was recovering from the surgery and everything? Like, I mean, I know people who have had heart attacks that bad and they didn't make it. Okay. Straight up, they died.
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
what was recovery like for that?
You know, because it was only stents and it wasn't that invasive, they went in, well, they tried to go in through my wrist. And then, where are you going? He's like, I've heard this story a million times, Daddy. Come here. Come on. Come on. Nope. Come on. Sorry.
It's okay.
That's what they couldn't, there was too much damage and blockage in my heart to go in through my wrist. So they had to go in through my groin. And honestly, that was on a Saturday afternoon that I had the the surgery, and then I was home the next night, or maybe it was Monday morning. I went home, and I was in a sushi restaurant on Monday night having sushi. But
Oh.
after something like that, I had to go through 3 weeks of physical therapy and then just kind of start from zero with like no heavy lifting and like very light cardio. And the one advantage I had over all that was, and still to this day, because I just had another, they went in to check just to, I had a stress test and they thought they saw something. So just recently, a couple months ago, I went in and had another, they just put a little tube in there to check out my heart again. Since it had been 10 years, I have a new cardiologist out here when I moved to Massachusetts. And so they just wanted to go in and take a look. Um, Benny just hit the tripod there. Sorry.
Oh, that's
Um,
okay.
huh. He's like, yeah. So just starting from zero there, and changing your diet 1,000, like I just a complete diet change there. Um, and then, oh, but sorry, I got sidetracked with the dog, which is fine.
It's okay.
When I felt sick there, like towards the end, I knew something was wrong. I didn't know it was my heart, and
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea about that. But I thought I was out of shape. So this all that summer of 2014, I was working out like a crazy person, but still eating terribly,
Right.
thinking that I could out my awful diet. Hey, I can eat
Yeah.
a pizza for lunch and then go ride 25 miles on my bicycle, and
Of course.
it'll weigh itself. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You can't out work out a terrible diet.
Yeah.
And so, but what my heart was already so clogged up that, um, it's called collateral blood flow. Your heart just, your body's amazing. Your heart just finds a way. So my arteries were clogged almost completely, but my heart was just finding ways to go around those. So to this day, the guy that did my first three stints said, "You have the most collateral blood flow that I've ever seen." And then when I went back to Boston General, um, the hospital here, the guy said, "My God, you have a ton of collateral blood flow." He's like, I don't want to go. I still have my one artery is completely 100% blocked. So he was like, if you were having problems, if you were out of breath, we could go in and do something with that. But he said, you have so much collateral blood flow that I don't know if this is interesting in the least, but,
No, it's
um,
very interesting.
yeah, my first doctor said, I can't believe you didn't. He's like, didn't it hurt when you were working out? He's like, your blood had nowhere to go. And I was like, yeah, but your whole life, I don't know how it is in the UK, but in the US, if you're a jock like I was in school, it's like no pain, no gain. You
Right.
work out till it hurts.
Yeah.
And so I was like, didn't it hurt? And I was like, yes, but I
But
thought I
that's the
was really
point.
doing myself,
Yeah.
to no pain gain. I was getting a lot of gain because I was in a lot of pain to ride 20 miles on my bike. So, but at the end of the day, it worked out because I have a ton of collateral blood flow now.
That's so crazy. I
So,
didn't even know that was a thing. That's
yeah.
holy. And so you still work out now though. Like I know obviously you do tons of walking when you're on tour and everything, but you still work out otherwise.
Yeah, yeah. I try to work out every day. And then on tour, which, some days it's harder than others to, if you're driving all day, you're just sitting there in a van. But when you get to the next place, hopefully the hotel has a gym and you can get, you know, really what my doctor told me back then was just to make sure that you're doing something to elevate your heart rate for at least 30 minutes, which I try to make it 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, you know, on this last tour in Europe, I was walking 20,000 steps a day, a
Yeah.
lot of those days. But so, and there was a lot of cool stuff to see. So you get the
Yeah.
workout in and you get to see, some cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do like weightlifting and stuff too, or do you mostly
Yep.
stick with like yeah, do it all?
Yeah. And trying to do more and more weightlifting here,
Yeah.
um, at least 3 times a week. post a lot of this stuff on my Facebook about how, the percentage of stuff like that, like the weightlifting, how much it helps your, mortality and stuff like that. And weightlifting is a huge increase in your mortality. So if you believe that science, which I do, I try to
Yeah,
do that 3 times a week.
absolutely. I like lifting weights too. Makes me feel powerful. um,
Yeah. I
and,
think a lot of that for me is like your mental health. Lifting
yeah,
weights really, I got into this cold swimming uh, several years ago in the winter. And that was just like this thing where it's kind of the same thing with weightlifting, where you're just really fighting yourself
yeah,
to get in the ocean when it's snowing and it's 1 degree outside and the water's 35 degrees. It's a mental fight that you have to put up. And I really got into that for one winter. And then
just one.
I got plowed by a wave in the ocean and dislocated my knee because I'm an idiot. I was like, I drive down there. I'm like, I drove, down to the beach. I got to do this. And a huge wave came in and crashed into me and almost broke my knee off. I was like, maybe cold showers would be better than
Yeah,
getting in the ocean in the winter. So,
yeah. I don't know. I did it for a long time and then I stopped, but I've recently restarted like finishing my showers on cold because
yeah,
I read this like huge thing about how it just really helps with like anxiety. It helps your whole nervous system, your lymphatic flow, like everything. I'm like, I didn't realize it was
yeah,
that good for you. And it does, once you get past that like initial shock, right? It feels really good to do.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
so I can imagine. I mean, I guess I'm close to the seaside here too, like about I don't know, a 30-minute drive out down to South End, but I don't know, something I don't want to go in the sea in the winter. It sounds cold.
It
I'll
was
stick
fun
to
for
my
that
shower.
until I got crashed into. It was really fun, but
And I have a friend in Sweden too, and she does like the ice plunges in the winter. And, I'm always like, I'm going to come do that with you, but then I haven't gone to do it yet. Sorry, girl. I'll
yeah,
come do it some point.
yeah,
What was
yeah.
I'm really curious. So I've always been like a huge vegetable lover, and like I was the kid who would come home and you know get a bowl of vegetables after school and eat that. Um, and so I know it's like kind of the weird one out here. But so if you were eating like junk food, fast food all the time, you are vegetarian now, right? And
I'm
um,
a pescatarian,
a pescatarian.
and
Okay.
yeah, and occasionally, like on the road, it's hard, and it's man, in the UK, and like, although the UK is bigger into vegetarian stuff than we are here in the US, it's easier to find that stuff. But on occasion, when like there's nothing and you're in the middle of nowhere, I'll have a chicken breast or
Right.
something if I have to.
Right.
Yeah, for
What
the
was
most
it?
part, pescatarian.
And like, was it really difficult making those diet changes? I mean, because you did have to like switch overnight, basically, right? Like,
It was an overnight, yeah, 360, like it 360 or 180.
yeah, I
It was
guess
a
it would be
complete
180.
change. I turned around in a complete circle and went back to steak. No, yeah, I was not that kid growing up. I hated vegetables. Um, my parents never forced me to eat stuff that I didn't want to eat. So when I grew up, Sandra and I were talking about this the other day. How when we got home from school, um, I would have like a double decker beef bologna sandwich
Oh,
and some little Debbie snack cakes. And that was our diet when we were a kid. It was meat and potatoes. I grew up in the Midwest
right,
in a state here called Iowa, and that's very meat and potatoes. So you'd be weird to not eat meat and potatoes out there.
right.
So that was really the way I ate until I had the heart attack. and then to just switch and be like, I'm never eating red meat again. I know people are like, I'd rather die than not eat a steak. But it's like,
It's like,
and my
really?
doctor told me, cardiologist at the time said, have a steak if you want. I'm not telling you to never eat meat again. He's like,
Mm.
go like have it once a month. It's fine like that. And I was like, I went 1 year on my 1 year anniversary of my heart attack. I went with my parents to a steakhouse in Iowa. I was like, I'm going to have a big steak to celebrate my 1 year of extra life. And I had a big steak. And I was like, I went home and I was all sweaty and I felt terrible. I was like, I don't need this. I'm just going to listen to my body and I don't need it. So I haven't
Yeah,
eaten red meat since.
that's interesting. Like, I like to have a good steak every now and then, but, you know,
Yeah.
but again, it's like red meat all the time. It's not generally a good idea, you know. It's
Yeah. So they say. Yeah. I did have one bite when my father passed away. Sandra had a big steak. She loves a steak every now and then.
yeah.
She's more healthy than me, but she was like, I was like, my dad would love for me to have a bite of steak. So I had, in his
Oh,
honor, I had one,
yeah, but
and it
I
was
mean
delicious.
that's different, and you know what I mean,
Yep.
though. Like
Yeah.
that's it. Like I don't know, my great aunt in Germany, she passed away a couple of years ago, but when we went back, you have to go to the Chinese restaurant because she always went there, or you have to drink the cognac because she always has to drink cognac. And so it's little
Yeah.
things like that. You do them because it is just that kind of reminder. It's that honor. I think it's really nice.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be hard though. I know for me, I'm like the past little bit, I'm like, yeah, I should probably not be eating as much sugar as I'm eating right now. But that's kind of my downfall. It's like, biscuits here in the UK are just so nice. Like, and
Yeah.
sometimes you just sit and want to eat a pack of biscuits from Tesco. Not a whole pack, but like I probably could on some
Yeah.
days. I'm not going to lie. And
Oh,
so,
jam.
it,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. The jammy Dodgers when we eat those like crazy when we're over there, and all of our friends know that we love jammy Dodgers, and you can probably get them here in America, but it's kind of a treat when we go to the UK.
Yeah.
Jammy
Have you
Dodgers.
tried the blue ones? There's like,
No, I
yeah,
don't.
I'll have to get you those. They're blue jammy Dodgers. They're also really nice. I just like ate some jammy Dodgers the other day. Oops. But I know, like, so that's like for me, I'm like, that's kind of my downfall at the minute. I'm like, sugar. And but I've been pretty good the past week or so, except today. Like I ate some honey cakes today because I had to go get blood work done, and so I needed that sugar boost after. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's
I was supposed to go get blood work this morning, and I ended up. It's my last day home, and I was like, we were on vacation since last week in Bermuda, and I was like, we got home, and I was like, I had started painting a bathroom before we left, and then I
oh,
noticed the lawn was about a foot high. I was like, I cannot go on tour without finishing this bathroom and mowing the lawn. So the blood test can wait till I get back.
I think, yeah, I don't know. It is interesting. So I've had some. I won't talk about it yet here on this podcast, but I've had some health stuff that I've like. It's kind of come to the forefront in the past. I don't know, few weeks too, and I'm like, yeah,
Uh,
I should probably, get that checked out just to be safe. Don't think it's anything, but I
yeah.
realized I haven't actually been properly to the doctor since like 2019. Same with
Oh, wow.
same, even though I've been going for all my hygiene appointments, haven't gone to the dentist properly in since 2019, and I'm like, oops. And so So I'm taking care of
Uh,
all of that. It's like, and it's been, kind of a good reminder. I mean, even talking to you right now, it's a really good reminder. Like, just get things checked. Like, it doesn't hurt anything, you know.
yeah. And
I'm
especially, I don't know if people realize your dental hygiene is directly connected to your heart health. So I was talking to somebody about that a couple weeks ago, like saying how they haven't been to the dentist for a long time and they were feeling bad. I'm like, man, you really got to, your overall health is connected a lot to your dental hygiene. So hopefully
Mhm.
people realize that.
Yeah, exactly. Did it, I mean, you've been more diligent now, obviously, with your overall health, especially for the last 10 years, but it's like, no, and I love too, I see that you kind of like, you educate people on health. And do you know what I mean? In some ways, like, you talk about it on your social media and things like that. And I think it's really cool because you have that platform that people are watching and they are listening and they're going, Tory says maybe I should be doing that, you know.
Hopefully they're saying that and not, that guy, he thinks he knows. But it's like, I don't, I'm trying to relate what I've been through, I'm not trying to preach to people I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do. And I know a
Mhm.
lot of people, if you say don't eat red meat, a lot of people are going to not be up for that message. So I just relate how I feel and the things that I read. Somebody's always going to find a study that says eating red meat 24 hours a day is the best thing for you. And it's like, so if that's the way they want to go,
But
I'm not going to preach to them about it.
no, of course. And I guess I always think like you see all this information out, now I should say to some extent, take the pieces that work for you and and leave what doesn't, and it's fine. And I guess, and I'm saying, there are certain things like, you know yes, we're not going to debate that smoking is good for you. Like, if somebody wants to go and
Although some,
debate that,
well,
yeah, they will. Or some people are going to get just angry because it doesn't align with their belief system in whatever way, then fine. But like, just go be angry over there. Don't bring it everywhere else. We don't need to do that.
yeah, yeah.
Let's
If somebody says, my doctor told me smoking's good for you, I would have to just back away slowly and say, okay,
Sounds good. I
fun.
actually I quit smoking 2 years ago, and 2 years and 11 days ago. And
Oh, wow.
so it's like, it's very exciting. And when I look it up, and it's like, I don't know, I can't remember what it said, but close to like 7,000 pounds that I've saved just for quitting
Wow.
smoking. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a little, that's like several holidays from the UK. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's a lot. And
Yeah.
I'd rather be holidaying than smoking, let's be real.
Yeah. And I mean, my doctor said flat out, he was like, when I had my heart attack, he's like, obviously you don't smoke. And I was like, never smoked in my life. And he's like, you'd be dead right now if you did. So I don't know. I wish everybody that I loved I could talk into not smoking anymore, but some people just think they're going to live forever.
Yep. And that's definitely not true. Definitely not true.
Yeah,
It's
well, I hope they get a second chance
when it
when
does
that
hit.
hits.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't I don't know. I can't even really say, cuz like, I'm asthmatic too. I'm very gently asthmatic. I don't know. It's not too bad. It was when I was a kid, but I remember the doctor saying to me, "Why is it always the asthmatics that smoke?" And I'm like, we like a challenge, maybe. I don't know, but but it's just. I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous, and I don't know. I don't even know why I kept smoking. And to be honest, when I just decided, okay, this is the day I run out and then it's done. And it was frustrating that kind of first day, first couple days, mostly because I actually lost my job on the same day. And
Oh, wow. Yeah.
and so, but I still decided I wasn't gonna smoke. And yeah, so here we
Yeah.
are, like just a couple
Huh.
years later. It's crazy, but
That's great.
it's it's interesting though because our mind is so powerful, and really it can get us through just, I mean, so many things. Like if you could do a 180 on your everything just overnight, it's
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge because I think you probably knew inside if you kept going the way that you had been, you probably would be dead by now in the nicest way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember walking out of the hospital after all that, and just like the outside air hit me. And I remember the way, I never forget the way I feel that day, like walking out of there after a doctor tells you you're lucky to be alive and stuff. And it was just like this feeling of like nothing else mattered. The sky was so blue and the grass was so green. And I was just like, I got a second chance here. And I'm amazed. And it's just, I can still just like see that in my head so vividly. So crazy. And I was afraid to eat anything. I lost 50 pounds so quickly after that because I was honestly just afraid to eat any. I ate like just salad, and yeah, that was it. Like vegetables and salad for like 3 months. And I was like, I'm going to eat the cleanest anyone's ever eaten in their life. And, here we are 10 years later. I'll have a French fry or some terrible food. I think I had like fried calamari when we were in Bermuda. And I was like, I shouldn't be eating this, but you forget.
But I guess it's
And then you
also
go,
like you're not eating it every day now, right? And
yeah, exactly. Whereas, yeah,
that's the
before I
big
was
thing.
eating Wendy's. Yeah, I was eating Wendy's for breakfast. I was eating McDonald's for lunch. And then I'd be like, oh man, I ate terrible this morning. I better eat Subway for dinner.
Ooh.
But, and also soda. Like soda, I would drink, God, I would drink a 64-ounce soda, during the day, and then another, just these giant fountain sodas all day. And it's like, I've not drank a soda in 10 years. So it's like that was one thing that probably made me lose a lot of weight because I wasn't drinking 1,000 calories a day since then. Yeah.
How I'm like, I know people do it, but I'm still like, how could you even do that? Like, I don't, I mean, the closest I really get to soda is like, okay, a tonic for my gin, right? But um
Yeah.
it's like, but I just I can't do it anymore. It was probably when I was a teenager, even cola, ugh, it like started just making my stomach really upset. And so it's probably been, yeah, I mean, like how old am I? It's been more than 20 years that I haven't really had any Coke or cola to drink. And
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine how that would feel just to have like 2 liters of soda. Ugh, gross.
Yep.
Sorry, Tori, but that's disgusting.
I know. Yeah.
And so now you're drinking the tea, as we know, and you drink
Tea.
water.
Yep. Water all day long. I did, I, because I got off coffee because I wasn't sleeping very well. And then I switched to tea, and we went to Europe in March, and I was like, I cannot go to Italy and Spain and not drink coffee. So I
Yeah.
got back on coffee, and now I just drink a little bit less coffee. So
Uh-huh.
sleeping. Yeah.
I have I have some coffee I'll have to send you. It's like this adaptogen coffee, but oh, it's really nice, and it doesn't make you so crazy like regular coffee does. Because I can't do the regular coffee. I, I I can, but just
Ew, no.
not as much. So I'll have to send
Yeah.
you some of that. And
Yeah.
so now you're, again, you're touring the world, which is amazing, and you really do live life to the fullest, like every single day. I know when you were here in London, I remember you were telling us like you got up at 5 and you basically hopped on the first train and you were like feet on the ground. It's London time. And I think that's the way to do
Yeah.
London, by the way. But it's like, I mean, you were out there before a whole bunch of stuff even opened, let's be real. And so,
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been to London. Probably the at least 10 times I've been to London. I was like, I've got to find some new stuff to see.
yeah.
So that's really such a giant city. You're going to get a lot of steps in if you want to see good stuff in London.
I think that's the best way to see it too is by foot. And really, I mean, most places in Europe, really, it's like walk it. It's so good. But,
Yeah.
and
I loved in Rome, they had the bicycles, like the Lime bikes. And I love riding bicycle here too. When I'm home, we ride bikes a ton, and it's just nice because we're by the ocean. Anytime on the road when I can rent a bike, I'll definitely jump on a bike and see a city that way. Either a
did you,
bike or the other day we were in Hawaii and I was like, just jumped on the bus. Like public transportation is a
mm,
great way. I love the city that way. And you'll definitely run into some Benjamin. You're gonna knock over the camera there, buddy. Look out! Oh my goodness. Yep. No.
and is that like, have you always had that travel bug, and always when, let's just say before the heart attack, did you go out and see as much as you possibly could, or is that part of like this whole mindset shift and everything shift since?
No, because I've basically toured my entire adult life, like in a band. So like touring in the US and being in a van and just seeing as much, it was all part of touring.
Yeah.
And let's face it, those early days was probably more of laying in bed until it was time to go because we drank too much Jägermeister, which isn't the case anymore. So it's like you get to see it more when you wake up at 7 or 8 a.m. and with a clear head. So
Yeah.
those not a
Yeah.
lot of sightseeing.
And
you know,
I'm going to guess
being
that you prefer it this way, where you get to see everything.
much, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you do you
I would
drink?
have.
Do you
I do
drink still?
drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
But
I'll have some
moderation,
wine. I've
everything.
moderation for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I would. It's funny when we were in Bermuda. Just we went. I don't know if you're familiar with Bermuda, but it's kind of the UK. Like it's a lot of British influence there. Basically,
Right.
every name, the British name, and there's pubs everywhere, like British pubs. And there was a guy that was from Manchester, that was
Oh.
the bartender at pubs that we went to, and he's like, somebody bought you a shot. Sorry for that terrible English. Somebody bought you a shot, and I'm like, I haven't drank a shot in 10 years and I'm not going to start today. Like shots are just off the table. No
Yeah.
shots. That was the
Ooh.
best thing. If I could have done anything in my life 20 years earlier, it would have been to not do shots. Shots wasted a lot of my time, and not doing them now is a great thing.
Yeah. I mean, okay, like I say, I like gin. Okay. But
Yeah.
I like to have a gin and tonic, and I'm not gonna lie, pretty much every single night I like to have, but I have one drink. I don't I couldn't even I haven't probably been drunk for, I don't know, 4 years probably, and that was
Yeah.
like just bad circumstance. I've never really been a big drinker, but I do just like a gin. And I yeah, and even shots. I don't think I ever really did shots. So God, I'm so boring. But but it's interesting though that you say, like, yeah, you wish you would have given that part up a lot earlier.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's crazy. If you could give any health advice to anybody listening, what would it be? Or life advice? Yeah, maybe
Oh God,
both.
walk. I walk.
Walk.
Walking is. I think walking is the. It's the best thing you can do. From everything I see and everything, I walk every day. Just get a lot of as many steps as you can in. Be grateful that you woke up that day, and about it.
It's kind of perfect though. Simplicity. I love it.
Yeah. Yep.
So, like you say, you're going on tour starting tomorrow for 3 weeks, but you're out kind of for the rest of the year on tour with with breaks. But yeah,
Yeah. Not like we did. We started this year. We started out. We started out in February, and we didn't come home until April. So
right.
we had a solid 2 months, which was really good. It's hard to be away from home that long, even though you're having great shows and you're traveling the world. It's like you're still,
You miss
it's
home.
harder than it looks. People probably see my social media like, oh God, he's on vacation again. It's like he was just here, he's there. You were just in Hawaii, you were just in Rome, you were just in London. It's like, yeah, I can see that, but they don't get to see the 20 hours a day that you. I don't want to say it's miserable because it's not, but it can be, and it's hard to be away from home. But I'm not always on vacation like it seems.
Yeah.
And I love playing music. That's why you do it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And
yeah,
so,
I get to go to beautiful Syracuse, New York tomorrow, and
mm, that's exciting. And so where is this next uh little 3 weeks? Where are you for those 3 weeks then?
we're going out with
Roughly.
Trickster, our buddies in Trickster, and a couple other bands. I think we do some East Coast and then Midwest. Yeah, East Coast, and then we go over to the Midwest. One show way out in Denver, Colorado, and then we go down to Texas, and then we end in Florida. So we're kind of doing a big loop around the U.S.
Oh, that's so cool. That'll be fun. I
Yeah,
mean, busy, lots of travel, but I always like, I don't know,
a
being
lot
over
of travel.
here, I'm always forgetting just how big like Canada and the States are. I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's actually pretty crazy. But it's
Yeah,
okay
I
though.
like in the UK, people are like, "Oh my God, you're going from here to there? That's like 5 hours." It's like
And they're like,
5 hours.
so
It's the easiest drive we could ever have in the U.S. It's like we could easily have a 10 or 12-hour drive, and that's from one end of your country. That's to be up at the
pretty
top and go
much.
all the way to Wales.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
So,
much. It's like it's just I know it's mind blowing how I think like okay, when I was in Canada I could drive to Edmonton in 3 hours, but that's still like in the same province. It's really not that far. And
yeah,
here I'm like, yeah, I could be up north easily within 3 hours in a whole new world. Like haven't
yeah,
even scratched anything in Canada doing that. It's crazy.
yeah.
And so
Yep.
then after this, where are you off to? What are the plans for you guys for the rest of the year, if they've been announced or whatever?
Yeah. I think we only have a few gigs in the summer, oddly. We're playing, we're doing a thing called Rocklahoma,
Oh,
which is a
cool.
big festival in Oklahoma. It's awesome. Played that a lot. What else do we have? We're going to Japan again,
Mm.
which I love. We're going there. And then out with Trickster again in October. So
Oh, that'll be awesome.
that's what we have so far.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I'll get
exciting.
to play a lot of tennis this summer. I'll get to be home with the
Oh,
doggy
he's so cute.
and the
I love
wife.
him. I mean, that's really nice so that you'll have that time. Enjoy the heat at home, with your loves.
Yeah.
It's like
Plenty of
it's
beach time, plenty of tennis. So
yeah, that'll be great.
concentrate on the health.
Yes, exactly. So if people want to find you online, where's the best place to find you, Tori?
That's
If
a
you
good
want to be
question.
found, maybe Instagram?
Jeez. Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. I don't think my Facebook is private. I think that's open for most people. um, yeah, that's funny. I deactivated my TikTok today because I was
Oh,
like, why do I need this? It's so stupid. I post the same thing on Threads and Instagram, and TikTok is like, I've had enough.
yeah.
Just like, yeah,
You don't need to
like
be
fake.
on there. That's the secret. You don't have to be. Because if your people
Yeah,
aren't there, then don't be there.
yeah,
Easy.
like yeah, yeah. But I have a record coming out. Sandra and I did a project called Sneaky Doodle. Um,
Oh,
kind yeah, I wanted it to be like a kind of Americana folk thing, and I think that's what it turned out to be. A friend of mine, Mark Gustafson, mixed it. He lives in London,
oh,
and
cool.
he mixed it. He did some Atmos mixes. I
Ooh.
don't know if anybody's into that or how you listen to that, but he's awesome at that, and he mixed the stuff really cool. I was gonna just release it on my own, and I realized that I cannot mix
Yeah.
music, so he did me a huge favor, mixed all that, and so I'm waiting for the CDs to be done on the Sneaky Doodle stuff, and
Do you know
working on some new.
do you know when that'll be
Hmm.
out? Is there a special place to follow for Sneaky Doodle then?
There, there's a Sneaky Doodle Instagram, which I really haven't done a lot with because I didn't wasn't sure what it was going to come out, and now that I'm getting the CDs made, it'll probably be a few months, and then I'll do some kind of whatever people do to release music now, and I don't know, try to stay away from Spotify, but I'm about to give in and just put music on there, like Dave and I talk about all the time.
Yeah. I mean,
They
there's
beat me.
there there's ways to there's ways to make it work a little bit better, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's not easy. That's going to have to be for our episode 2.
yeah.
The great
Benny
debate.
just Benny just gave you a good.
Oh. Hot topic, Benny. Oh,
Arrow just got up in the
yep.
background.
Oh, and he's brought a
Hi,
sea
buddy.
monster, right? Arrow's got a
Oh
little
my
sea
goodness.
monster.
Who is it? The doggy? Come here, see the doggy.
Oh, he
Where is
took
it?
off.
Where's Arrow? Is it right
I think
there?
he's
Come here.
he's gone to the hallway. Oh no, now he's
Oh,
back.
there he is. Doggy.
Arrow, where are you?
Oh,
Where are you? Oh, there you're this side again.
look. Benjamin.
Here's
Benny. Look.
he's got a sea
Look. Oh,
monster. Look, it's the dog
oh my
party. Come
goodness.
here, Arrow.
Oh my
Say
goodness.
hi.
It's a doggy. Who's that? Oh,
Oh,
goodness.
he's so
Oh
happy.
my goodness. No.
And so, and then you're
Oh,
releasing your own stuff too, then? as well as the Sneaky Doodle.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing? And so when's that going to be out?
I don't know.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I don't have any time to finish anything because I'm on the road so much.
That's fair.
But yeah, so I'm trying to do the Sneaky Doodle thing, some new Black Seven. Um, I did this band that I did back in the '90s. I redid all the vocals and released that. That was called Motherlode. And
Oh,
then
cool.
wanted to do. I had a band called the Black Mollies in
Right.
the 2000s that toured a lot. It was like just a three-piece rock band. I would love to do some more of that when I have some time. 'Cause I love, I love just like pop rock, like the Cars and stuff like that. So I really
Yes.
wanted to do a new Black Seven record like the Cars. Now that I live in Massachusetts, the south of Boston, I got to do a Cars kind of record.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, that's really exciting. And then, I mean, but you'll talk about all of this stuff as it comes out on your socials and everything too, I would hope.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next thing will definitely be a Sneaky Doodle. And we called it Sneaky Doodle because this is our Sneaky Doodle. He sneaks up on you.
He's so
You're the sneak.
sweet.
Yeah.
Well, everybody thinks they called Arrow because like I'm a huge Aerosmith lover, but I mean that is true. But his name is because he's bubbly like the chocolate bar, the Arrow chocolate bars.
Oh, hilarious.
So
Ha, I totally thought it was because of Aerosmith.
okay, well we
I
can
did.
pretend because that's definitely it could be too. So
Ha,
oh no, that's
awesome.
my favorite. So we will put links to all of your socials and everywhere that people can find you. And honestly, Tori, I'm so happy that you could be here today and we could have our little chat and share our puppies and talk about health. Like it's fabulous.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
And everybody, make sure you check out Enough's Enough on the road if you can, and make sure you follow Tori for the top tips in health and music and everything else. We'll see you soon then. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Healthy Metal Hippie podcast. If you're looking for more, head to healthymetalhippie.com and let's connect. Until next time, wishing you a magical week. See you later.